So Witchfire is a game with a ton of different guns that do insane things, and recently they added a new gun, being the Striga. Now you can find this where you originally unlock the door to the merchant. It'll be sitting on his desk, and this game's like crossbow main hand. We got the other crossbow that's a demonic. This one's like a It's like a cross between a rifle and a crossbow. Now, one thing that you'll notice is it doesn't shoot bolts, it shoots like whole ass logs, which is fucking rad. Now, to go into the lore of the gun, it says, thought long lost, Striga is a weapon of legend, named after a demonic creature famed for sharp claws and twin souls. It mirrors these traits with its piercing stakes and dual element powers. And that right there makes this one of the most unique weapons in the game. It's the only one that at least I can think of that comes with two separate elements. Now, at level 0, it's a basic bitch crossbow. It's kind of hard to use. It's really difficult to get used to how the projectile flies, and I've noticed if you fire it while moving, it like follows the path of you where you go a little bit. So if you're like trailing left, it'll kind of fly diagonally to the left. It's kind of odd. And it's really hard to get used to. Plus the bolt is so slow. It also arches, so if there's an enemy kind of farther away, you have to aim up above them a little bit. But it is a lot of fun. It takes some getting used to, but it's a ton of fun. Now at level 1, it deals bonus damage to stunned enemies. And you might be wondering like, oh, how much extra bonus damage do we get? And the answer is a fucking lot. We get so much bonus damage. I was kind of unimpressed when I unlocked that, and then I used it and I was like, damn, that's insane. I was hitting enemies for like almost 500, which is just silly. Now at level 2, it kind of boosts that even farther, because now the stake ignites mid-flight, increasing damage and triggering burn shockwave on impact. Now, the burn shockwave is a lot like the all-seeing eye, where, with that one you get a headshot, it kind of pops outwards and deals damage. This does the same thing, except you don't have to get a headshot or even hit an enemy. You just have to reach a certain range. So I've noticed that it's like a good 20-30 yards out in front of you, it'll kind of light up, and then any part after that, the actual stake will do, I think it's 15% more damage is what I noticed. It is a good bit more. And on top of that, burning enemies take extra damage, so if you light an enemy on fire and then stun them and then back way up to hit them and you get the bonus damage from stunned, you get the bonus damage from the ignited flight, and the bonus damage from Burn's Rend. You can hit like a fucking truck. It's insane. And then at level 3, critical hits shock all nearby enemies, and it hits hard. If you manage to get a headshot in the middle of a pack, I mean, I've seen the shock. It's a little inconsistent, and I'm not sure how it works. Sometimes it'll do like 70 or so damage. Other times I've seen it hit for 400 damage. I don't know, is it taking into account, like, are you getting the bonus damage from the ignited flight on the shock? Because I almost feel like that's what's happening here. It may also account for the bonus damage from stunned enemies, because that shock damage can get ridiculously high. I've accidentally one-shot like a camp because of this. So now, because of how well this thing does against stunned enemies, I have to suggest you use Shockwave or Cursed Bell. Shockwave, for the longest time, was my least used spell because I didn't need to stun anything. Like, I would rather have something that I can deal damage with or that has other utility. And now, with this gun, Shockwave is badass, just because of how much extra damage you're doing. Cursed Spell I use kinda often, but now it has like a phenomenal use. It has an actual synergy, because after Burning Stake came out, I haven't really touched Cursed Spell that much, so now we have a really, really good reason to come back to it. So, with all that being said, if I had to rate the Striga, based on how much ammo you get, because you get a good bit for how hard this damn thing hits, it gives you a lot. You can clear 3-4 camps, if you're hitting your shots, that is, without ever running out of ammo. And if you are missing your shots, you can still clear like, 2.5, possibly 3. So they give you a ton of ammo. The one thing that really knocks it down a peg is its ease of use. It relies on you getting headshots for the shock and getting long shots for the burn, and if you want to combine those two, it's a nightmare. But that being said, it is fun to use, so I gotta knock it up a couple pegs there. So I think this would be, like, depending on the user, B plus or A tier. It hits way too hard. It has no problem killing the bosses whatsoever. The only time that it can be a pain is like some of the arenas where you fight some of the bosses, you won't always get the burning stake, but if you can get headshots, you're still getting use out of it. It's, you know what I'm saying? But it is an absolute monster against the castle boss, whatever he's called, I can't remember. And it does a decent job at stunning the, Scarlet Coast boss. So, all in all, I mean, you get single target damage out the ass, you get AoE damage like crazy, you get a lot of ammo, so as long as you can get used to the projectile pattern and all that, this thing, I could see it skyrocketing to S tier. It's absolutely nuts. Now, I know I'm a few days late. I was out of town when this DLC dropped. Or not DLC, the fucking update dropped. So, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked the Striga. Get in there, have fun with it. I sure did. So, I'll catch you guys later.